Is that you, Hashirama?
Yes.
Is Hashirama a failed Naruto? This video will be a response to a YouTuber named Sage's Reign and points he made in his video titled The Philosophy of Hashirama Senju, a Contradiction. In no way is this meant to guide hate towards him or his channel. He actually makes content I'm a huge fan of, and I do think others should check out not only the video I'll be referencing, but his content as a whole. I feel like it'd be more appropriate to say my video is sort of a build-off of things he said in his video, as I won't really be refuting anything he said, but using it as a reference for the most part. So, in Sage's Reign's video, he touches on the concept of the Will of Fire and the friendship between Hashirama and Madara. This is what I'll be responding to and referencing from my video. I won't really go into detail about the relationship between Hashirama and Madara since it's an extensive topic in its own right, but just to be clear, I will say the relationship is a parallel of the relationship between Naruto and Sasuke. It makes sense since they're all reincarnates of the two sons of the Sage of Six Paths, Ashura and Indra, with Hashirama and Naruto being the reincarnate of Ashura and Madara and Sasuke being the reincarnates of Indra. This is important because since the beginning of the reincarnation cycle of Ashura and Indra, along to it was tied the theme of the cycle of hatred. If you've read Naruto, which I'm assuming you have if you're watching this video, then you know the cycle of hatred is one of the main themes within the Naruto universe. If you're unaware of what the cycle of hatred is, then let me explain it to you. The cycle of hatred is the continuous cycle of violence, revenge, war, and anger. In terms of personal relationships where this would apply the most, it would definitely be between Hashirama and Madara, and their respective clans, Senju and Uchiha. The reincarnation cycle of Ashura and Indra eventually led to the Senju and Uchiha clans being formed, as both of these clans are descendant from Ashura and Indra respectively. These two clans would war over and over again because of their mutual hatred and power over one another. The reasoning for their hatred would become lost, but the hatred was all that remained. The hatred between the two reincarnates that would lie within both clans, but more so within the Uchiha. You see, the Senju clan was known as a clan of love, while even in their darkest days, they were harsh. They were always more loving to people within and outside their clan, and could easily forgive, at least more easily than the Uchiha. Even the Senju, who were known to have massive disdain toward the Uchiha, could forgive, like Hashirama Senju. While the Uchiha clan was known as a clan of hatred, they felt the most powerful love. A weird dichotomy, I know, but unlike the Senju, the Uchiha was not as forgiving, especially to those outside of their clan. Within this story, we're able to see time and time again, not only the Uchiha's disdain for the Senju clan, but over time, a disdain for the Hidden Leaf village as well. This disdain, this hatred, however, wasn't unwarranted by any means, although it would grow over time, after the era of Madara Uchiha. During the inception of the Leaf Village, Madara was wary of how the Uchiha would be treated, as he knew of two things. One, that Tobirama was biased against the clan, and two, that Tobirama would eventually become the next Hokage after Hashirama. Because of the experiences that Madara lived through, and the uncertainty of true peace within the Leaf, he would then come to the realization of a different dream that could lead not only the Leaf, but the world as a whole to an era of peace, a dream of the far future. For Madara to attain this dream, however, he would have to go against everything the village stood for, which of course would bring him to direct confrontation with Hashirama Senju and the Will of Fire. In Sage's Reign's video, he goes on to explain that Hashirama displayed the Will of Fire for the first time after he ended the life of his longtime best friend, Madara, in their fateful battle that would form the final valley. I 100% agree with this point, and it was actually at this moment that I formed the idea for this video. Hashirama, someone with the same pure heart as Naruto, ended the life of his best friend for the sake of the village, for the sake of everyone, even though he never wanted to. The will of fire, sacrifice, to find purpose and meaning in one's village beyond one's own desires, no matter what they may be, friend, family, or your very own child. Dispose of it all if it's for the greater good of the village. Harsh decisions, self-sacrifice, and putting the village over one's own self-interest, morals, and beliefs is what the will of fire is. A harsh reality for any shinobi, but one must endure. That's the true mark of a shinobi. Or is it? You see, the will of fire, the cycle of hatred, the Uchiha who are possessed by evil, according to Tobirama, in the reincarnation cycle, these karmic cycles and nexuses that connect them, is also contradictory. Again, I will ask, is Hashirama a failed Naruto? What does that mean, and what does it entail? Naruto also possesses the will of fire. That's an undeniable fact. Born to the leaf and loyal to his ever-burning flame, he pressed on in his dream of serving the village, and his desire of wanting to be recognized, his dream of wanting to one day be the Hokage, no matter how much he suffered due to the village, and the hate they held in their heart towards him. But there's one fundamental difference, and that is the will of fire. Naruto does indeed possess the will of fire, but there's a difference in what Naruto is willing to do and what Hashirama is willing to do in order to not only bring peace to those around them, but to achieve their dream. Sage's Rain says in his video that Hashirama and Madara's dream was to build a place where no child would ever have to experience the horrors of war. This is true. Naruto's dream was to eventually become the leader of that place, the Hidden Leaf Village. An obstacle Hashirama was faced with was to convince Madara to be a part of their shared dream and save him from the dark path he walked. Naruto's obstacle, as it would turn out, would be to save Sasuke from the dark path he walked. Two brothers, one that held love in their heart, and one who once knew it, but grew to only know hatred. One who sought to be the flame that would guide the world to peace, and the other who sought to extinguish that flame for good. Madara wanted to believe that there was a way he could coexist within the village he created with his longtime best friend, but he couldn't see it. Instead, he would put his faith in the infinite Tsukiyomi. Sasuke, once loyal to the leaf, wanted to gain power in order to rid the world of what he thought was the embodiment of evil, to end his older brother, Itachi. After Sasuke learned the truth of his brother, he would aim his hatred at the village he was once loyal to, and swore to destroy it entirely, along with everyone who resided within that were benefiting off of the actions that made his brother suffer so much. Two destructive obstacles to overcome. You see, the main goal for both Hashirama and Naruto was to save their friend who walked the dark path, to end the reincarnation cycle between Ashura and Indra, the cycle of hatred. Hashirama, however, failed in that endeavor. After countless battles between Hashirama and Madara, Hashirama decided to put the nail in the coffin when he realized that Madara would never change. Madara just couldn't accept the dream that he and Hashirama had come to make a reality. Even with all of his visual prowess he gained, he was truly lost in the darkness. The light he embodied when he was a kid was snuffed out by the constant worrying, the death of his brother Izuna, and eventually the doubt of his former dream coming to an end. Hashirama couldn't save him. I don't really have to touch on Naruto and Sasuke's story. I'm sure the majority of us have seen it and heard it talked about so many times. And we all know how it ends. Naruto does indeed save Sasuke from the dark path he walked. But why? It's not really that hard to determine, but it is very complicated in its own right. These four may all be reincarnations, but they are not the same people, and they were not faced with the same circumstances or struggles and obstacles. What I'm getting at is, it's all about perspective. Hashirama was a light in a time of turmoil within the world that was constantly at war, where men murdered children. He's seen just how cruel the world can be, and of course, this would have a profound effect on the young Senju. Of course, when he finally creates some form of stability within that world, he would want to protect it at all costs, and no matter how much he wanted to save his best friend, he knew what was more valuable in that moment. The village, the peace he was able to acquire and to maintain it. He would become just as cruel as the world he's experienced. Yes, he would kill his best friend to maintain that newfound stability, so no one, no child, would ever have to experience what he did during those trying times. While Naruto was faced with his own set of obstacles, it would not be anything remotely similar to what Hashirama had to go through, especially when he was a child. Naruto didn't go through the constant warring and conflict Hashirama will have to go through, and he didn't witness the death of his fellow clansmen or brothers on a regular basis. He lived in a village where things like that were mostly a relic of the past. You see, the reason I say mostly a relic of the past is because, as I've said before, Naruto was faced with different circumstances. And also, if I don't touch on this, then I feel like I'll get eaten alive in the comments for saying Naruto had an easy childhood or life in general, but that's not the point I'm trying to get at. What I'm saying is, circumstances and obstacles were different. Naruto has seen a fair share of just how cruel the world can truly be. From the way he was treated by the people inside of his village because of the nine-tailed fox that was sealed inside of him, a village that Hashirama created for love, peace, and protection, especially from your fellow villager. And then Naruto's battle with Zabuza and Haku during Land of Waves, which taught him just how cruel the shinobi world could be. Naruto's battle with Gaara in Orochimaru's attempt to destroy the Leaf Village, which resulted in the death of the third Hokage, that will also add on to the notion of just how cruel the shinobi world could be. And finally, the eventual departure of his longtime best friend and rival, Sasuke Uchiha, who would seek out Orochimaru, the one who was responsible for that attempt of destruction on the Leaf Village, and the death of the third Hokage. Naruto has been through plenty. Now, the reason it's important to bring this up is not only because of people in the comment section, but because in Sage's Reign's video, he is right about a few things. Hashirama did desire for his village to be a place where children would not have to experience the conflicts and horrors of war. And when he's brought back from the dead with the reanimation jutsu, he praises Itachi for being a greater shinobi than he was, for doing what he did, for embodying the will of fire, for showing that no one's self-interests were not above the village, just as he once did when striking down Madara all those years ago. This isn't a video to disprove that fact that Sage's Reign brought up, but to more so shed more light on the situation. You can by all accounts call Hashirama a walking contradiction for his praise of Itachi and what the village had become. Sage's Reign says that the most counted on shinobi during the Fourth Great Ninja War was Naruto, Sakura, Shikamaru, etc. And I agree. Like I said, the point of my video isn't to disprove that notion, and even Hashirama's former best friend, Madara, says something alluding to that fact. He says his dream bore a paradox because, while people did indeed desire peace, the desire for conflict would arise. It's just how people are. And when you throw other villages and nations into the equation, it's only bound to get worse, with differing beliefs and cultures clashing with each other, sparking war after war. Was Hashirama a walking contradiction? Maybe you could say that. Was Hashirama a failed Naruto? Maybe you could say that too. As I said before, it's all about perspective. One thing Hashirama always bore in his heart is that you have to pass down what you can accomplish within your lifetime to the next generation. You see, I don't think Hashirama was ever meant to break the cycle of hatred or the cycle of reincarnation to begin with. I believe it was always destined to be Naruto. I believe Hashirama's purpose was to pass down an age of peace and do what he could for the next generation to build off of and make prosper. During the end of the Fourth Great Ninja War, Hashirama goes over to Madara, who is on his deathbed. Madara tells Hashirama that neither him nor he were able to achieve what they wanted. Hashirama said something that stuck with me and made me come to this conclusion. He tells Madara, in no uncertain terms, that their job was to do what they could during their lifetime and pass it on to future generations to accomplish. I could sit here all day and give examples as to everything we as fans of the series have witnessed. There are so many examples, but the most proper one would be Naruto. Naruto, from the very beginning, was destined to save the ninja world, to end the cycle of hatred in the reincarnation cycle of the two warring brothers. There is this misconception within the Naruto fandom that because Naruto was destined or prophesized that it was inevitable, but that's just not the case. He could have easily given in to his hatred and disregarded not only the village, but the world, just as another character we know once did. But he didn't, and he even saved him from his darkness. The point I'm getting at is that even though he was destined to be the child of prophecy, he still had to work towards making that a reality, and eventually, he did. Naruto was passed down the nine-tailed fox in hopes that he could master that power and save the world. It was passed down from his father, and he did indeed save the world. He learned what it meant to be a shinobi from his master Jiraiya. Jiraiya bequeathed to Naruto his dream of ending the cycle of hatred and having people understand one another, and he accomplished that as well. And finally, Hashirama. He passed down the will of fire, which was the catalyst to those beliefs and dreams in the first place. Naruto only proved Hashirama's point correct, that you must leave behind your dreams to future generations to accomplish, that you must trust and have faith in what you believe in and pray your successors will do the same after you're long gone. Even Madara attested to this. Madara, during that conversation on his deathbed, tells Hashirama that he's always been an optimist, and right after that he says, although perhaps that is the proper way to be. So here's my answer. Hashirama isn't a failed Naruto. He was never meant to be Naruto. Hashirama was meant to set the foundation for Naruto to grow and achieve not only his own dreams, but Naruto's as well. It's funny because it's almost like planting, and Hashirama's signature jutsu is wood style, the jutsu that apparently aided in building the Leaf Village. Maybe I'm looking too far into things, or maybe I'm actually on to something, but that's neither here nor there. I'll reiterate once more. Hashirama is not a failed Naruto. Hashirama Senju is Hashirama Senju. He always knew what his road to be. Thank you for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. And I want to say thank you to Sage's Reign for inspiring me to make this video. You should really check him out. His content is really top tier. And he's actually one of the main reasons I even started doing YouTube in the first place. He's a quality content creator, and I feel like if you enjoy my videos, then you will definitely enjoy his. And until next time, I'll see you later.